Here I go. Hey, hey. So I had my little guest chair set up, but like I said, she's decided to join me, then not join me. Um, so we're going to discuss some questions that business owners should consider. Like I said, we have a lot of new business owners. Even if you're in the gig economy, there's some things that you need to consider as we're going into this tax season. 2020 has come with many challenges. Even tax season, it just came with a lot of challenges, and this tax filing season is going to be even more complicated than it usually is. I've said that time and time again. The CARES Act and the Paycheck Protection Program, those were put into place to help small businesses stay afloat. But as I've said before, nothing is ever totally free. So we want to look at different things as the taxpayers are gathering their documents. We're starting to find some changes that's going to impact you pretty big. I've discussed in the past unemployment. There's a lot of things regarding unemployment that people just weren't aware of. And I'm looking again, guys, between IG and Facebook and YouTube. So welcome, welcome. For those who do not know me, I'm Tawana with Bryant Business Solutions, and I am an accounting and tax professional. And I look for ways to help minimize your taxes legally, honestly, with integrity, of course, always at the forefront. So, yeah, but what I want to talk about is 4 things specifically that as business owners you want to look at. The first thing that you want to look at, if you took the Paycheck Protection loan out and you have not requested forgiveness and not gotten forgiveness on that yet, you want to ask yourself, how will that impact your taxes? You want to find out how that'll impact your taxes, because normally under tax law, when a debt's forgiven, it becomes taxable income. But with the PPP loan forgiveness, it's also tax exempt. So you want to make sure that you're asking questions about that. The IRS has taken a position that, come here, come here. No, come here. Come have a seat. Come sit down. Okay, guys, my special guest here. She's not totally on camera. Here you go. So yeah, the IRS has decided that business expenses paid for with those loans would not be deductible as expenses for tax purposes. And that was initially said, but then there were some things that could be deducted on your taxes. So the signing of that in legislation in December, when Trump, I was about to say Bush, I don't know why, when Trump signed the Tax Relief Act in December, then that kind of overrode what was initially said. So there's a lot of changes. There's expenses now that are fully deductible, even though the loan is forgiven. So this may not be true, though, for state tax purposes. So again, as I have said before, if you used to be a TurboTaxer, you may not want to do TurboTax this year. You may want to go ahead and seek a professional to get your taxes done, because there's various nuances to your taxes that the changes are going to impact you. The other thing is, let's see, you deferred your payroll taxes. You're probably wondering when they do. Employers who are struggling to make payroll were offered pretty much like a life raft of sort, in the form of a deferral on the employer's portion of the employee's Social Security payroll taxes. And those deferrals are applied to the 6.2% Social Security tax on wages paid for the period of March 27th, 2020 through the end of the year. Okay. So if you're one of those businesses that chose to take advantage of that deferral, you'll need to pay the first half of what's owed by December 31st, 2021. Okay. And that balance will be due 1 year later on December 31st, 2022. with the balance being due. Okay, so the first half by December 31st, 2021, second half December 31st, 2022. And that's if you deferred payroll taxes, okay? The third thing that you want to look at is how the CARES Act impacts how your net operating losses are handled. A lot of times, say hi, Kaylin. A lot of times, back before, in the Tax Cuts and Job Act eliminated the net operating loss of carrybacks for most businesses. But under the CARES Act now, the net operating losses carrybacks are allowed for the tax years 2018, 2019, and 2020. Okay, and that's in the form of a 5-year carryback, which means that for each of the last 3 years, you can carry back losses 5 years, and any unused net operating losses is then carried forward until it's used up. Okay, and so this was one of the things that I talked about when people were wondering how Trump paid so little in taxes. This is one of the tax strategies that was actually used. Net operating losses can be carried forward, you know? So the CARES Act also suspended that rule, that the taxable income of the carrybacks or the carry forward year can only be reduced by 80% as a result of the net operating loss. And that suspension only applies now to the net operating losses originated in 2018, 2019, and 2020. Okay, so those are handled differently. And I want to say to the business owners, if this stuff is confusing to you, one, we have to dissect this information. But if this is already, it's like, okay, listen, let me just run my business. Again, reach out. By all means, you're always free. The link is in my bio. I will have a link attached here as well for assistance with your taxes. And there's something else I'm going to say once I cover the fourth one. The fourth question that you want to ask is, and this is a big one, and I've been seeing this a lot. So say you had employees that were working remotely now, but due to COVID in different states. Okay. How does that affect your taxes? And that's one of the biggest tax headaches out there, especially if you don't typically have employees working remotely. The pandemic has, again, forced employees to now work in different states from where they typically would have worked. So where you're actually performing those services are different. And so there are some states that do have reciprocal state agreements, but most cases, these temporary changes will not, due to COVID, it will not have an impact on you and your payroll, okay? But it's important to find out about your specific situation. If you have an accountant already or a tax professional that you deal with already, be sure to ask them if you have employees working remotely who now work remotely in another state from where your offices are located. Be sure you're asking that question. How does it impact you going for this year, especially at the state level? Okay, so you want to, it may not impact you at the federal level, but it may impact you at the state level or even at the local level. So you want to look at those things and be sure you're asking those questions, okay? And some states actually have tax regulations in order to recoup some of those tax losses for some of that money that they gave out, okay? Additionally, if your business is like many and you're considering making those remote workers permanent, then any employees living and working in other states might put you in position to have to pay business taxes in those states, as well as withholding state taxes from the employees' wages for those states. And I do have a couple of clients where I have to, they're responsible for state taxes to multiple states. You want to make sure, if you're now going to have those people working permanently from home, that you do make sure that you find out how that's going to impact your payroll. Okay. Now, understanding the full impact of this past year is going to take a long time. And it's not, if it seems like your tax professional or your accounting professional is kind of hesitant or really just kind of being slow and speaking and not rushing into anything, understand these tax laws change on minimum once per day. I get updates throughout the day because their laws are changing multiple times. I get notified. So that's why when you see me making posts, sometimes it's something that just came across that I got an update on, as far as some of the changes that's happening within tax law. But understand that these changes are happening so quickly for us. The other thing that I wanted to share with you guys, and make sure that that you, I don't know, I'm sorry guys, I think IG, oh, okay. The other thing I want to make sure you guys understand and know is that you're getting your bookkeeping done when you go into these situations. My business owners, make sure your bookkeeping is getting done and you're not just going into this blindly. Okay, I have a heckler. I didn't even realize that. Okay, I just blocked it. But be sure that you are getting your bookkeeping done. Don't just assume, okay, well, I didn't have a lot. In your mind, it's not a lot, but this is going to protect you if an audit arises. Okay, so make sure that you're actually going out there and you're getting your bookkeeping done before you just jump into getting your taxes done and assuming. And then the other thing is, I'm seeing that a lot of people are losing valuable deductions as well because they're not doing their bookkeeping, or they're not depreciating items that should be getting depreciated throughout the year, for you to be able to take that on your taxes. Now, if you have any questions or concerns or anything that you want to discuss, or a topic that you want me to discuss on these Tax Talk Tuesdays, I plan on running these throughout the tax season. But if you have any topics that you want me to discuss, by all means, slide in the DM. But outside of that, if you need tax assistance, if you do not have a tax professional, if you do not have an accountant, if you're ready to switch tax professionals or accountant, we're actually taking new clients and we'll be more than happy to assist you. Typically, I'm not this distracted, so I apologize completely. I'm not this distracted typically. But if you're looking for a new tax professional, come join us here at Bryan Business Solutions. We would love to have you. We'd love to assist you throughout this tax season. Hopefully when you guys see me again, we'll be have at least the paint done in our new offices. I'm excited about this change. I'm just doing some changes to the image and everything that we have going on here. So I'm so excited. I'm a fresher, cleaner space, but I appreciate you guys. And on that note, I will drop the link below. So by all means, click the link. If you're ready to get started, or if you have some questions, click the link. I will have the tax onboard. You would automatically onboard yourself for tax services. If you have questions, I'll have that link as well for a free 15-minute strategy session, or discovery call is what I indicated as. It's basically a discovery call for me to find out exactly what your needs are, because what you may assume that they are, it may not be the case. Again, I appreciate you guys joining me, and I look forward to seeing you next Tuesday for Tax Talks Tuesday. Have a great evening, everyone.